Sagt Zevachim, Daf Kuf Gimel aber Aleph, starting from the beginning of the Amid, the Mishnah. Sagt the Mishnah, we're going to talk about a couple Kol in every case. That the oila became possible before the came through the spray the blood, so it never had a shas heter to be burnt on the mizbeach. So in that case, the kahanim do not merit in getting the hide. Never, like it says in the pasuk, es oil seish. The beginning of the pasuk is v'akein hamakiv es, and the words in the Mishnah is oil seish, and the end of the pasuk is oil ha'ikriv. So first of all, the ha'oila, the ha'oila is extra. Ha'ikriv is also extra because he said v'akein hamakriv, v'akein la'yiyah. We're going to learn all these limudim from these words, from these extra words. And this pasuk is coming to teach us, in order for the kahanim to be zeicha in their hide, the oila has to be oila shal saleish. It had to be an oila that was fit to go on the mizbeach for the owners, and then they get the hide. Sagt the Mishnah, oila shenishcha shalei lishma, al kap oila that was yeshachten shalei lishma for the sake of a different carbon. Of course, we're not talking about a chatas for a different carbon which would passel it. Even though it wasn't for the chayv of the bailam, because he had a mind for it was supposed to be for oil, and he had a mind shalei lishma for a different carbon. It still remains on the mizbeach. It's sacrificed on the mizbeach, and the oil kahanim. And even though it was shalei lishma, he wasn't yetzi dei chavasi as a oila. The hide does go to the owners. Sagt the Mishnah, whether it's oilas heish or isha, or it's sent lakahanim. The hide goes to the kahanim. Sagt the Mishnah, it is kadashim kalim. It is of kachim kalim laba'ilam. They go to the owners. Kachim kalim is like the Korban Pesach and so forth. Sagt the Gemara, it is kachim like a chatos, asham, which is kachim kadashim. Not only of oil itself. The hide goes lakahanim to the kahanim. Says Gemara, from where do we learn it out? The marker is only that the hide goes to the kahanim only by oila. How do we know that the hide goes to the kahanim even by a chatas and asham? Says Gemara, the chayla which the koyanim do not merit in the meat. The whole meat is burned on the mizbeach. Nevertheless, they merit in the hide. Kachim shezachu mivsara. Well, by a chatzis and asham, where the kohen get to eat part of the meat. Of course, they should merit in the hide. And zog the Mishnah, you can't schlag up. Mizbeach is zeicha in the meat, but doesn't get the hide. So maybe we should say the same thing, even by a chatzis and asham, even though the kahanim did get in the meat, they shouldn't get in the hide. And the Gemara, mizbeach is different. Should have the Mishnah. By mizbeach, it never gets a chelik in the hide. Versus by kahanim, they do. Zok Gemara, it says oilas ish. So what is ish coming to exclude? Prat oilas hagdish. It's coming to exclude the oil of hagdish. Divrei Rabbi Yehuda. Those are the words of Rabbi Yehuda. And the Gemara is going to explain what does it mean oilas hagdish. Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Yehuda, Ima. Rabbi Yosi says prat oilas geirim. It comes to exclude geirim. So the Gemara is going to ask what geirim is lishkin ish, but we'll get to it later. In fact, my prat oilas hagdish. What does it mean? Excluding oilas hagdish. Rabbi Yosef prat oilas haba min ha'maisares. Comes to exclude the oila that comes from maisares. What does that mean? That we know that when a behemoth was designated for a asham, right, and the bailam died, or chatas, and they died, but the mesa bailam, the chatas shemesa bailam, the halach chatas, the owners died before they could be makavit, or he lost the original carbon, and now they're bringing the second carbon. So then they bring it as they either the one the chat shemesa bailam, they let it they leave it in the field till it gets a boom, and after that they sell it and they buy another behemoth with its money, and they mark of it as oilas tzibur. What does it mean? That in the summer there was times that the mizbeach was empty, they use that extra money to make sure that the Mizbeach should be full for the Kabbalah. With that money, they bought a oila and put it on the Mizbeach. So that's already called Eilas Tzibur, because it was done for the Tzibur. So, and that's what Eilas Ish is coming to exclude. But if it's Eilas Tzibur, you don't get the hide of that carbon, of the Maisadis. In fact, but according to Mandi Amma, that says no. It says Maisadis, if he lost his carbon, so and then they find the original carbon, we said over there that's for his own personal Eilah. He has to bring it, not for the Mizbeach, Kaitz Mizbeach, which would be for Tzibur. So if it's his own personal Eilah, so why shouldn't he get the hide? What are you going to answer? And the Gemara, like Rabbi said, Ha-Eilah, this, that it says, Ha-Eilah with a Hey-Yediyah, it comes to teach us Eilah Rishayna, that the first, from where do we learn out that the first carbon in the morning is the Eilas HaTamid Shal Shacha? We learn out from the word, from the extra hey. Hachanami, so too, here it says also the word Eir, by the hide, it says Ha-Eilah, Be'Hei Yediyah. It doesn't say Eilah Stam. So we'll say, also it means Eilah Rishayna, only the original Eilah, that's where he gets the hide. But not the Moisa Dika one, not the one that was exchanged. Rabbi Yana gives a different pirush. What does it mean? Prat la'ilas hagnish. Prat lematlis oil lebedikabayis. If somebody designated ha'ila for a carbon, and then he said he wants to go for the bedikabayis. So bedikabayis is for the maintenance of the Beis Hamikdash. It's not for the Mizbeach. So what do we do? It says the Gemara, that the kohen doesn't get the hide. For sure, according to Mandi Amma, that says that even though it was for the Mizbeach, we say that no, the Bedek HaBayis does kick in. And it becomes the Bedek HaBayis right from it's like the Bedek HaBayis being marked in their carbon. Even according to the Mandi Amma, that says that the Kedusha Bedek HaBayis is not tefus on the behemoth as a carbon. Hani mili basa. That's not in the basa of the oila. That's completely burned for the sake of the owner. But when it comes to the tefus, the Kedusha Bedek HaBayis is tefus, and because that's not called. That's what oila sish is coming to exclude. That the Bedek HaBayis kicks in to anything that's not shaykh to the Mizbeach. Whatever he designated for the Mizbeach stays. He can, according to the Sakman Yama. And the Kedusha of Bedek HaBayis cannot be tefis. But whatever is not going on the Mizbeach, the Kedusha of Bedek HaBayis is tefis. And that's what Eilas Ish is coming to exclude in such a case where he designated this animal for the Bedek HaBayis. So whatever is for the Mizbeach goes for the Mizbeach, even according to the second Mandi Yama. According to the first Mandi Yama, it's totally the Bedek HaBayis. It's totally the Tzibur. But according to even the second Mandi Yama, that it goes to the Mizbeach, but only whatever is Oil Mizbeach. Whatever is not Oil Mizbeach, like the hide is never sacrificed to the Mizbeach, that goes to the Bedek HaBayis. That's what Eilas Ish is coming to exclude. Rav Nachman is not learning like Rabbi Ivis Pshat, but he's learning like the first Pshat that Rabbi Yehuda said Eilas Ish is coming to exclude Eilas Hagmish, meaning Moisreis, that we said before. And we excluded from where? From the Hey Ha'ila, that even according to Mandi Amma, that it goes for a Yachid, the Moisreis, but only the Hey of Ha'ila is coming to exclude that only the original oila, the hide goes to the Kahanim, but not the Moises. Okay. Rav Nachman said to Rav Nachman, Kiman, like whom are you saying? Rabbi Yehuda, like Rabbi Yehuda, that he holds that the Moises do not go to the Kayin. We know the Hahadabay, Rabbi Yehuda himself retracted from that. Where do we see that Rabbi Yehuda retracted? And he says that even by Moises, the hide does go to the Kahanim. The Tanya that we learned in the Braisa, it says a shishel and a dava. There were 13 kupis, and the 13 kupis, and some of the kupis went for the new shkolim, for the old shkolim, for the kinin and the pigeons of the oila, the wood, the spices, and the zav for the kaperes. And then you had shisha for nedava. The oila haba min ha-moises, for oila that came from the moises. Shlo yeh kahanim, zakoin ba'oila, that the kahanim shouldn't be zeicha in the hide. And those are the words of Yehuda. He said that the kahanim will not be zeicha in the moises in the hide. Amalei Rabbi Nechemiah. Rabbi Nechemiah said to him, and others say, Rabbi Shimon said to Rabbi Yehuda, "In came the ultimate drasha shall Yehuda HaKohen." You mavato the drasha of Yehuda HaKohen that we learned in the Mishnah, the Tanan, in Mishnah Shkolim. Zamidish drasha Yehuda HaKohen. It says in the pasuk, "Oshem hu Oshem Hashem LaHashem." So first it says that the Oshem is on a chet that it should be sacrificed to Hashem, and you finish the pasuk. It says, "Kachatzka Hashem Torach Lachem HaKohen Asher Yichapen by Lo." So it's mashmat that the Hashem should go to the Kohen. So how do we go inside this there? So we learn Kol Shabbat Mishum Chatz Mishum any money that comes because of a Chatz Hashem, meaning the money that was left over from the Demei Chatz and the Hashem, Yilakach Ba'olis. He should buy Olis to sacrifice as a Dava. B'Habas El Hashem, and the meat should go to Hashem, but the Eirek Lakanim. So now it makes sense that the pasuk, when it says that Ashmash Hashem, that's going on the meat, that goes to Hashem. When it says that that it says that Lo Yiyit should go to the Kahanim, that's going on the hide. So we see that, and since Rabbi Yehuda didn't answer anything to Rabbi Nechemiah, when Rabbi Nechemiah asked the question, it's mashma that he retracted, and he held like Yehuda that the hide goes to the Kahanim even by Moses. So how are you going to explain Taka Ilas Ish if it's not excluding the Moses, that the Moses do not go, that the hide doesn't go to the Kahanim from the Moses, rather it does. So what is it? So what is Ilas Ish coming to exclude? We'll say that it's talking about a specific case where he's makdish all his nechasim. And like I'm sure, the time that we don't know Mishnah Makdish Nechaso, somebody who's Makdish all his Nechasim, and between the whole carbolage, the whole thing that he was Makdish, he had behemoths that were fit to go be sacrificed on his Bayach. Scharim und Keves. So Scharim, since the Scharim Aruya La'ila, you machar l'seich ha'olis. So you sell it to people who need oilis, unekeves, and since nekeves are not oilis oilis, you sell it to people who need shlamim, and they should pay for it. Udmeim, and the money that you got for the sale, yiplu imshar nechas l'hadei should go for the maintenance of the house. Only the scharim you sell as oilis. In the keves, because the one that was makdish behemoth mimes, minastam, his mind was that should go on the mizbeach. When the keves yimachal etzich shlamim, b'yam b'dmeim oilis. In the keves he should sell first, because the shlamim, the meat is going to be eaten by those that buy the shlamim. So first sell it. Don't sell the leftovers after you sacrifice the shlamim. You're going to lose money. First, you sell it for those that need it for shlamim, so you get the full amount of the whole behemoth. And with that money, you bring it for the bedek habayis. Even though in the case that he was makdish shana royal likarev as an oila itself, but the kedusha is lidmei oila. Ushar nechas middle with bedek habayis, and the rest of the chasim should go for the maintenance of the house. So what do you do with the shlamim again? You sell the whole carbon. You use that money for oilis, because even though lechatchila wasn't, it was not royally karev la'oila because it was nekeves, but it had the money that he got in exchange is for the oila, and he has to buy oilis, and the rest of the money goes for the bedek habayis. Even according to Rabbi Yeshua, Adam chelek hekdeshe, meaning So he's makdish part, whatever's ready to be makdish on the Mizbeach, goes on the Mizbeach, and whatever is not shaykh goes for, of course, for the maintenance. So hani mili, so that's after the basa that's shaykh to go to the Mizbeach, according to Rabbi Yeshua by the oila, that goes to the Mizbeach. Aval tafis, but when it comes to the which doesn't go on the Mizbeach, that goes for the Bedek. So you see that by the shlamim that he sold and he had to buy a oila with it, you see part of it goes, the basa part goes for, just like a yada. He's saying that that's the case. The basa part in that case goes to the Mizbeach, but the eilas go to the Kahanim. Rabbi Yehuda says, "Eilas ish is part. Eilas again. Is a ger not considered as a man?" And the Ravina said to Rav Simai, the kavanah of Rabbi Yehuda was prat leger shemeis bein leyoshim. It comes to exclude a ger who's amazed, who died and he left over no yarshim. So if there's no yarshim, it's hefker. So that's what it means. The nechas that's left over is excluding a ger who has no yarshim. So it's a hefker. It said in the pasuk that the kahanim have a kabbalah hide. And it says, "Eilas ish, ainly ela eilas ish, eilas nashim ba'avadim enayim." How do we know eilah of women and avadim that those two, the hide, their eilas go to the kahanim, the hide goes to the kahanim. Tamalema ha'eilah riba that we learn out from these that these eilas still go to kahanim. If so, it came out tamalema eilas ish. Why would you say ish if it's also nashim avadim? But you want to oila she'olsa leisha means a oila that was that the chayv of oila was fulfilled. Prat nishchata with a machshava to be marketed chutz lizmana. When he was shechting it, he had in mind to eat it after there a lot of time. So or chutz l'mekayma to eat it out of the place, the designated place where the carbon is supposed to be eaten. That's called pigul. So in such a case, where there was people involved, there the kahanim will not be zechadera in the height. So I would have thought that I would include shenishchata shalei lishma, even where it was slaughtered shalei lishma, not for the sake of that carbon. Also the since they by them were not yetzidei chavasai. So lo yehiz kahanim zaken ba'ira. So I would say the kahanim should not be zech in the height. That's what the ha'ila is coming to teach us, that wherever it is, if it was sacrificed in the Mizbeach, the hide goes to the Kahanim. I only know that the Kahanim are in the hide of the hide of ha'ila, because it says ha'ila. But Eiris Kachi Menayim, how do we know the hide of Kachi, meaning Achatas Hasham? Talmud Leima comes the passage and says, Asher Hikriv. The actual words, Asher Hikriv, because it already said Amakriv. We brought you, I said in the Mishnah, I brought you the passage. It says, V'akoin Amakriv. So why does he have to say, Eila Asher Hikriv? So Asher Hikriv is coming to tell us that even if it's kachim, the area of the oil is the hide goes to kalim. I would have thought that you should include kachim kalim, that the hide goes to the kahanim. Talmud lema oila comes the pasuk and says oila ma oila, just like oila is a karm that is kachim afkol. So too, what can only include what kind of other kabbanis which are kachim. So you see, but if it's the hide of kachim kalim, that then the kahanim are not zeicha. Okay, Rabbi Shmuel says, I learned it out from a different place. Rabbi Yishmael is going to learn out kachim from a different marker, not from Asher Hikriv, but from a Kal V'Chema. How do I know it is kachim kadashim? So Rabbi Yishmael will argue with the Tanakama and say that we learn it out not from Asher Hikriv, but from a Kal V'Chema. It's a Kal V'Chema. Ma oila shloi zachu v'sara madach oila. The Kayanim are not zeich in the basa, in the meat. But nevertheless, that they do merit in the hide, where they are zeich in the meat, shouldn't it didn't be that they should merit in the hide? So he learns it out from Kavachema. So the Braisa tries to slug up the Kavachema. Mizbeich Yechiach. You see by the Mizbeich Sharei Zach Bebasa, Mizbeich does merit in the meat, and they do not merit in the hide. So what's your Kavachema? Says Gemara, no, Mizbeich cannot slug it up because Lei Zach Afilu mixes oil. You never find that the Mizbeich could have any oil on it. But by Kahanim you find that Zeicha in the Eiris and by certain Kabbanis. Since you can find that it's Zeicha B'miksa, Zacha B'kulei. So therefore it's Zeicha in all Eiris of Kachim Kachim. Rabbi Yomer, a third opinion, from where do we learn out Kachim Kachim, the Kahanim Zeicha in the Eiris? So he says, Kol Atzmalei Utzachnu. For all the other Kabbanis, I didn't need a pasuk to tell you that the Kohen is Zeicha in the Eiris. Only by Eilah. Why? Ella Eira Eila Bavad. Only by Eira I needed a pasuk because Shemechol Makrim in all the other kabbanis, the Eir goes hand in hand with the meat. It says that the parim, the parim that are burnt and the he-goats that are burnt outside Yerushalayim. Then together with the meat, the hide is burnt outside Yerushalayim. And then it says which are kachim that are eaten. So the Torah says that it matan lakoyim, and we don't find in any place that the Torah commanded that you have to skin the hide before that the meat should go to the Kohanim. Uratzu, if the Kohanim want, they can skin the hide. Or if they don't want to skin it, they don't have to. They can eat it. Al gav ayran, together with the hide. So you see that they're allowed to be mavash lebasa and to eat it with the hide. So the ayran and the basa go hand to hand, and it's given to the Kohanim. Because if not, the Torah would have said you have to skin it. Kachim kam lebailim, the kachim kam go to the bailim imratzu. If the bailim wanted mavshit noisa, they could skin it. If they want, they could eat it. Al gav ayran. So you see, it goes hand to hand. The only place where you have a problem is Oila, where there it says not about behivshit as Oila. There it says specifically, no, you got to skin it. It's a separate din. So Yachla Yehei Kanim Zakamayra, I would have thought, hey, the Torah says you skin it. So we don't know what the din is with the Eir. So maybe they shouldn't get it. And we know only the meat goes to the Nizbeich. That's why it says to teach us that the Kohen is also in the Eira. So we only needed a pasuk specifically for Eila. But all the other kabbalas I didn't need, according to Rabbi, because it's befedish in the pasuk. Rabbi Yishmael says we learn it out from Kavachema, and the Tanakhama says we learn it out from Asher Hikriv. It says lo prat letul yom chusik purim yoinen. The actual words lo tells us that tful yom or chusik purim yoinen who are not right to be makne kabbalah. They are not zeich in the hide. Sheyach, I would have thought, hey, lo yizke b'basa. They shouldn't marry in the meat because the shuach la'achila, because the meat is made for it to be able to eat, and they're not right to eat kachim. A tvul yoyim mechutz kipurim or einan. They're not yoyim, but yizke b'ayim. But maybe they should merit in the hide. Sha'reinim la'achila. It's not designated for eating. Tamalem comes the pasuk that tells us lo yiyah prat mechutz kipurim tvul yoyim einan, that they're not even zeicha in the hide. So the Tanakama that Darshan, what do we learn out from Kachim that the Kohen get the hide from Asher Hikriv? Typically Medina, why did they not learn it out with a Kavachema like Rabbi Yishmael? The Gemara Mills asked me Kavachema Tanakama Kasalekra. According to Tanakama, even something that's learned out from Kavachema, nevertheless the Torah bothers to and writes Befedish a pasuk for it. Rabbi Yishmael, who learned it out from the Kavachema, that kachim that the Kohanim get the is haya shehikrim ha'yav. What does he do with his extra words? Ashehikrim. That to exclude a tvul yom that they do not partake or get merit in the hide with the kachim. Let us learn it out from the extra words lo yihya, from where the Rabbi learned out to exclude. I'm sorry, where I don't know if it's Rabbi. The Gemara, the Brisa said lo yihya comes to exclude all three. And that they don't partake. Do not partake in the ayah. Why does he learn out from Ashehikriv? Rabbi Yishmael goes according to his reasoning. Rabbi Yishmael said the name of Rabbi Yishmael. Lo yihya. By Eila it says the words lo yihya. But by Hashem lo yihya. By Hashem it also says lo yihya. Malahalon, just like by a karmashim atzmaisim mutarim, the bones are mutter b'hanav for the Kohanim to make vessels out of them. Afkan by Eila that's maisav mutarim, that the bones are going to be mutter to have anah to do whatever you want. And this is Exeter Shava. And we have to say mufni. It has to be Exeter Shava that is extra on both sides. Because if it's not extra on both sides, you can slug it up. If you're going to say they're not extra, I can slug up. You can't learn out Oila from Asham, Mala Asham. How could you compare Oila to Asham? Shakim Sari Muta. Asham, the meat, is Muta Ba'achilu HaKahanim. And the boss of Oila is completely burnt. It's also. So I could have slugged up the Gzei Shava. That's why the Gemara concludes, Lo Yihya Kra Yisedu. The taka, the extra lo is completely extra, and that's why we can learn it out with Gzei Shava.